it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But I'm just more confident in who I am. I'm just more me. And when you choose the best thing for you, it's easier for you to pursue your purpose or pursue what's right for you versus just choosing what's better in the short run. And again, I'm just speaking from my own perspective. I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 this year. I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done a lot of good things. But I know one thing for certain. I can obviously only give you. I'm not gonna be able to get you. I can only give you, the perspective of life that I currently have, and I haven't found anything better than this. Choosing the best thing for you, and not the better thing for you. Thanks for tuning in to my gaming podcast, Gems in Gaming, where I play various games and tell different stories about my life, experiences, wisdom, anything to help inspire and encourage others. You were born with the ability to change someone's life, and you should never waste it. If you enjoy, please like, comment, or subscribe. Alright, yo, what's going on, y'all? I just got back from MomoCon. I'm not sure if MomoCon is global. I know for a fact in this event here in Atlanta. You guys know I did Comic-Con, DreamHack, DragonCon is one of the ones I haven't done. I am looking forward to being in DragonCon in the future. My company was featured there. I'll do a video on MomoCon and what you can expect there, just like I did for DreamHack. I can talk a little bit about what my business did too. Not a problem at all. But I promised y'all 2 times a week. I haven't been doing that, so I'm gonna try my best this week to do it. Today's Gems in Gaming again will be another fairly quick one. Something that I'm excited about doing. Because I wrote 2 parts for this particular Gems in Gaming. The first one is called Choosing Better, but I want to start with the second one, which is choosing best over better. I feel like if I start with the second topic, it'll put the first topic in a lot more perspective, but it'll also explain, if you've already think that you're choosing better for your life, how there might be a best that you can choose, and that might be very beneficial. So that's what I'm doing today's Gems in Gaming. Choose best over better, or choose best, not better. Now, what does that mean? Like, better is obviously good, right? Because it is better than whatever I currently have by definition. Otherwise, what's the point of better? And that's a fair point, very good point. But the whole point of choosing best, not better, is, sometimes we're in a position in life where, what's good for us in a moment doesn't mean it's the best option for us overall. You know what I mean? Like, so for example, I've done a decent amount of work in tech. I started off working for a startup. If you need to know more about my journey in technology, you can watch the School of Afrotech, a YouTube video I put out, which I'm thinking about changing the name to Learning the Game, but I'm still playing with that. So in the School of Afrotech, I talk about everything I had to do just to get to tech. And what I haven't spoken about in the School of Afrotech yet is how we've made it, or me and my wife made it to certain points in tech where it is good and most people would actually pray for to get to that level. I started to actually get depressed and I wasn't as excited, or let's say I just wasn't as fulfilled at a certain point in my journey, which is natural, right? Like, not everything that sustains you one day will sustain you tomorrow. But I paid a lot of attention to just the place that I was at, or the places that I've been at in my life, and when I was quote unquote happy or when I was quote unquote depressed. When I was most depressed, it's I was choosing a lifestyle, or I was choosing things that wasn't, it wasn't for me. It wasn't like something that I would recommend for other people, or it wasn't something I felt confident in, right? Um, and eventually, even though I was making a ton of money in tech, like I was making a decent amount, I just wasn't sustained after a certain point. So I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna start my own business. Like I was just talking about in the beginning, when my business is now being featured in certain events and we're able to do certain things. It took us a minute to get there. Me and my wife, it took us a minute to get there. And now that I'm there, I realized that, just because it was good for me in that moment doesn't mean that it was the best thing for me. And I only discovered this from quitting my job and starting my business. Right? That's when stuff started to really get into perspective for me. So, so
Knowledge is its own reward.
as I was saying, sorry, I'm just reading the chat. So I was saying, I started to learn, like, okay, there was better for me, even though like I was doing good in life, I could have been doing much, much better. And I discovered this once I chose the hardest path. And that's really the biggest part about the concept, choosing best over better, is sometimes there is a good situation that is like, it's probably better in the short run, but in the long run, most of the time, those are the best options that we can choose. Like those are the best things that we can do. So, my concept, or the concept of choosing best, not better, is like, just because, it's easier in the long run or in the short run, or it's easy to do, that doesn't mean that, it's always the right thing to do for you. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you should be doing. And I had to learn this. Like I said, like I've really thought that, the place in life that I was at was sufficient. And I thought there was nothing better. When I was in tech, eventually I thought that was it. Like I wasn't going to need for anything else, or want for anything else, or look for anything else. And I found that wasn't the case. I found that wasn't true. And, to find out something like that, when it's easier to just, when it's easier to, man, that laser was killing me. To just be okay with being complacent, or, being in a good spot. Like being in a good spot sometimes make you complacent. And being in an uncomfortable spot is sometimes what we need in order to really grow and to really become the best version of ourselves. And I discovered this just from me and then doing life the hard way. Sometimes when I would quit my job for tech, there were plenty of times where I just wanted to go back. Like I'd do anything to go back to my corporate job. It was the easier thing to do. But just because, like I said, it's easy doesn't mean it's right. Like for the long run of my life, it was way better to start my own business. For me specifically, I'm not saying this is great for everybody, but it was way better to start my own business instead of. Ooh, sorry, y'all. I just try to save buddy. Then instead of like following the path that the most logical person would choose, it was more logical to it was more logical to, you know, be in a more secure environment, secure financially, than it was to branch out and try to start your own business on your own. Like, that was not, that was the hardest thing to do, but it was the best thing for me. Now when I talk to you guys, or when I speak, you know, whether it be speaking engagements or even here on YouTube, doing gyms and gaming, or you know, give me something that, you know, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But, you know, I'm just more confident in who I am. I'm just more me. And when you choose the best thing for you, it's easier for you to pursue your purpose or pursue what's right for you versus just choosing what's better in the short run. And again, I'm just speaking from my own perspective. You know, I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 this year. And you know, I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done a lot of good things. But I know one thing for certain. You know, I can obviously only give you I'm not gonna be able to get you. I can only give you, you know, the perspective of life that I currently have, and I haven't found anything better than this, choosing the best thing for you and not the better thing for you. And you know, I'm repeating a lot of that, but you know, it's just the truth that I've discovered. It's the truth that I discovered, and I believe that you know, there are different ways to express exactly what I'm saying, but I'm sure that plenty of people have, you know, found that sometimes the harder thing to do is the best thing to do. You know, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let's see how this gameplay goes. You know, I try to keep these lessons short, but let's see how this, you know, the rest of this game goes, just from some entertainment for gyms and gaming. You know, there's a lot of things I plan on, you know, hosting and plan on doing. Like, I am going to bring back Video Game Dump. If you're not familiar with Video Game Dump, just know it's like my way of giving back to I don't want to say the culture, but the gaming community. You know, in a more funny way. Like, typically a lot of my content is all about, you know, I don't want to say education, but my business is about education. A lot of things I would rather talk about is you know, about positivity. So, you know, I just wanted to I like Video Game Dump because it gives like a different side of me, I guess. You know, I don't know if that's going to be beneficial from as a CEO of a company. You know what I mean? Like, it might backfire in the future, but at the same time, you know, I'm just being me, and I think it's the best. That's the best thing to do, right? Like, the better thing to do is for me to flex, I guess, and show all the different things that I can do and different things that I've accomplished. That's probably the better thing if I'm trying to get clout, or if I'm trying to get the, you know, do the quick thing. But you know, that's not my swag, and my swag is to do the best thing. So, you know, I gotta be a living example of anything I talk about. So, you know, I hope that y'all, you know, don't feel convicted about anything that I talk about, and just realize, like, I'm just talking, you know, experience, you know, by my own life. So yeah, we got the dub, so it was a good thing that I kept growing, man. But, you know, plain and simple, always remember to choose best. If you can, choose the best thing, not the better thing. Choose the best thing for you, not just the better thing for you. Simple enough concept logically, but I know it's a very extremely thing to do. So just give yourself grace, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and God bless.